Location. Location is, we're told, the one important thing when we come to buy a house or look for a site. I mean, who would be so foolhardy as to choose a tiny sliver of land between a mainline London railway and this busy A road in Sussex, eh? That's exactly, however, what one couple decided to buy. I first met them 3.5 years ago, and I remember thinking at the time, boy, this pair are courageous, inspiring, and absolutely rebellious. Olaf and Fritha had lofty ambitions for their tricky plot.
This is just our dream. We can do whatever we want here.
Until they discovered it had a sewer running underneath it.
We're stuck with it. We've paid the money, so it's kind of screwed.
A triangular self-build was the only solution.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pain in the arse because it's a triangle.
So Olaf's master carpenter skills were tested like never before.
Shit! Can't fit that window in.
And if that weren't enough...
There's two lines.
Olaf and Fritha were also starting a new family.
Just want it all over and we can move into our house.
Inevitably, building a triangular house led to a load of head-scratching problems.
A number of the windows with the handles have been milled on the wrong side. What's this all about, you know?
And as money became ever more scarce...
We will be in a situation where we need to beg and borrow more.
A spur-of-the-moment purchase of a double-decker bus...
Why are you putting a bus next to the house?
...threatened to push them over the edge.
Stop! Oh, Christ, what have I done? Shit.
I am really intrigued to find out whether or not Olaf and Fritha's triangular life on that little plot that nobody else wanted has worked out for them. But first, here's their story. There are some people in this world that don't follow the well-worn path of convention. Rebellious spirits that embrace the unorthodox and resist the pressure to conform. People like Fritha and Olaf.
I met Olaf on Tinder. I thought, oh, I can't swipe right because he looks too wild, and I promised my dad I would have no more wild boyfriends. But then by the third date, I was totally like head over heels.
My life before Fritha was a little bit hectic, yeah. She's different from any other person I've ever met. Pretty much knew from the outset that we were going to be together.
We really want to live a different kind of life. We don't want to follow the patterns of others and things like that.
She does make me laugh a lot.
Fritha runs an ethical business importing hand-stitched fabrics from India, while Olaf, named after his Icelandic ancestors, is a carpenter, joiner and crafter of precise high-end interiors. Now he wants to use those skills to build an entire house. On this quarter-acre site in West Sussex that they bought for £160,000.
Oh, look, a train! He waved at me!
This compact piece of land is far from ideal. It's hemmed in between a really busy A road and a mainline railway.
There's so many trains!
The decibels on this site would deter most, but Fritha and Olaf only discovered the biggest obstacle to building here after they'd bought it.
And then it was going way up.
When I found out about the sewer, it was a bit demoralising. The sewer has dictated the shape of the building. Seeing as it's impossible to move, we've had to work with it. We're stuck with it. We've paid the money, so it's kind of screwed.
There has to be a 3-metre distance between the sewer line and any foundations, so the buildable area on this scrap of land has been halved.
People walk past here all the time, and when we're on the land, they call over and they say, hey, do you realise that you've bought a plot of land that you actually can't build on? There's like a main sewer in the middle of that. We're like, yeah, we know we did that, we know.
In early 2020, Fritha and Olaf begin clearing the site.
Not on the survey!
and uncover even more underground surprises, like a defunct septic tank. But there's no turning back now.
Probably been thinking about building my own house all the time I've been a carpenter, so 20 plus years.
So now you need to say is, I would never be building this house if I hadn't met Fritha. Look at me, gaze in, lovingly.
I definitely wouldn't be in this situation if I hadn't met Fritha.
You make sure that's in, I'll pay you.
Olaf has now begun building a boundary wall from old railway sleepers. A brazen, chunky line of defence to resist the adversity on every front. That is, apart from the sewer running directly underneath the plot, which is forcing them to build a triangular house. There's one thing I don't like about triangular buildings, and that's this problem, the fact that you get these corner spaces which are useless. Look, what's it good for? It's good for standing in, the naughty corner. It's the useless corner. The prospects for this project are grim, frankly. Maybe that's why Olaf and Fritha drive around in an ambulance. Oh look, it's our plucky self-builders. I like your van. So you're next to a road, next to a railway.
Yeah.
I can see why somebody would look at the site and think, actually, it's challenging.
The biggest challenge is the sewer. A huge 9-inch main sewer that runs right the way through the site.
Presumably that means you can't build over it.
No.
What you're saying is the house is as big as it can be on the site
couldn't
because
be larger,
of the...
yeah, exactly that.
Man alive. Are you going to build this yourself?
Predominantly, yes.
So although the house is constrained, there's no constraint on the craftsmanship that's going into it, the energy that's going
No
into
compromise.
it. No compromise
at all. We've both lived in rentals all our lives. We only met 3 years ago. This is just our dream. We can do whatever we want here.
Of course, they can't do whatever they want, because all they have are restrictions. The road, the train line, and the main sewer, which alone threatens the viability of their plans. The 3-metre exclusion zone and the need for their own soakaway means the foundations utilise every inch of buildable space. On top, they'll build a meaty, handcrafted timber frame that'll support 2 upper floors, poured in concrete. These heavy floors, thick insulation and 21 triple-glazed windows will work to keep the noise and the vibrations of the heavy traffic out of the interior. An eye-catching sculptural sloping roof at the front will be clad in zinc and then covered in cutting-edge, low-profile solar panels. Inside, the house won't be big. The ground floor will house an open kitchen and a triangular snug. An acutely angled first floor will squeeze in a study, bathroom, and 2 bedrooms. Upstairs, in the sloping eaves, the main bedroom with a large bathroom will become Olaf and Fritha's tree-top haven. The building will be clad in white render, black engineering bricks, and Olaf's favourite, wood. Olaf plans an outdoor kitchen and a sunken circular fire pit. This is an unconventional house on an unforgiving plot. To build it will not be easy, so their budget had better not be as constrained as the site. So how good are you both with cash, with money, you know? Have you drawn up spreadsheets and cash flow forecasts for the project?
No.
No.
How much are you spending on the project?
It's 190 is the mortgage.
190,000.
Yeah.
So that's a mortgage you've got there.
A
self-built.
Self-built mortgage. So how much have you spent so far? 20, 30 grand?
We're knocking on the door of 100 at the moment.
Well, good. What that you
But
spent?
that's
That's including
that we
this.
spent, yeah.
That's including getting out of the ground with the concrete and everything.
And the windows.
Windows
are
and
paid
doors,
for.
okay.
Well, how much were the windows?
37.
37.
And that includes the front door.
Okay, that's
the
good.
win-
That's
yeah, the whole
but
fenestration.
you said 60,000. In foundations like this should cost about 20, 30 tops. You spent double that.
Making this land buildable
Yeah.
has cost us a fortune that we didn't realise it was going to cost us.
And that leaves you with 90,000 to finish the house, everything.
You can do it, Olaf.
He's going to have to. Wow, this budgetary revelation is yet another giant hurdle for a project besieged by compromise. This magnificent, great, powerful sleeper wall is beautiful and it's finished. Whereas this lightweight timber stud work that Olaf started is weedy. This wall actually speaks of craftsmanship and skill. This one, well, it's all to play for here, isn't it? And going forward, I just hope that all the qualities of this somehow magically transfer to the work Olaf has to do, because everything falls onto his shoulders. Everything is his responsibility. It is, in every way, down to him. Fritha and Olaf want to finish this unlikely house in just 12 months. So Olaf and a trusted colleague don't waste any time in getting started.
I'm in my element here, and then, you know, that's what I was born to do, I think. I have go mode, and that's it. I don't have a sort of half speed.
Of course, it's not long before those spiky angles make themselves felt.
Shit! Can't fit that window in. Pretty pissed off.
This pitch on the forward roof is one of the steepest angles on the building.
I was 2 degrees out. 2 degrees out doesn't seem much, but it's about that much missing out of the top floor. Yeah, I mean, it's a pain in the arse because it's a triangle.
One tiny error in degree will now mean several hours of reworking part of the roof.
My brain hurts.
And on this build, every moment is critical.
I've got the bricklayer starting in August, so he's 4 weeks away, I think. 3.5 weeks away. And I go back to my paid job in September.
As Olaf races to get the timber frame up in just 4 weeks, Fritha heads to their allotment, a short walk from the site.
I love the allotment very much. It was my idea to get the allotment before we got planning, because I felt that we needed something to get us over here.
Building a house is just one part of Fritha and Olaf's brave new world. They also want to start a family.
I hope that this place provides the opportunity for some of our children, whoever they might be, to get more into country living.
Fritha and Olaf have been trying for a child for over 2 years. They're currently staying at Fritha's parents in Guildford, 20 miles away.
Have we got a lighter?
And they've turned to IVF. The first important step of that journey begins tomorrow.
This is what we've been working for 2 years, basically.
We had one pregnancy and it ended up in a miscarriage.
Yeah. Building a house, you can control it to a certain degree, but this is completely uncontrollable. So there's an air of uncertainty that is quite daunting, really.
Early the next morning, Fritha and Olaf are in London.
So today we're going for egg harvesting.
Yeah. We're going to go and get 5 juicy eggs out. It's just one step at a time, I think.
These two aren't just taking on the stress of building a house, they're actively pushing for new responsibility. And whatever the outcome, they both know that great change is coming.
See you on the flip side.
The strain and the pains of building are already being felt by Fritha and Olaf in West Sussex. Their house is a tiny, complex, triangular puzzle.
There's so much stress involved in building this house. It's quite all-consuming, project managing and building at the same time.
As well as a house, they also want to make a family. It seems the IVF process has worked so far.
So we've got 5 embryos fertilised, which is really, really exciting.
Their lives are moving like whirlwinds, with only one impediment in the path of their pursuit of happiness: money.
There was quite a tremendous overspend on the groundworks. You know, it was unforeseen circumstances. It's going to go over probably by about 50 grand.
We'll run out of money, and then we will be in a situation where we need to beg and borrow more.
A new £240,000 budget will mean going back to the bank to ask for a larger mortgage. But the mathematics of the budget are simple compared to the geometrical riddle of the house itself. Olaf's next challenge is the frame for his trianguloid roof.
Bit tricky, it's very technical compound angles, and not really looking forward to doing it, but it's part of the process, I guess.
As the roof goes up, it becomes clear why most of us live in cubes. For Olaf, even the drawings stop making sense.
On the one side of the roof, it says on the top, it's 31-degree pitch. So what, I don't understand the 18 from vertical. Why would you have that? That's what I'm up against.
Mind-boggling geometry slows down the work. Olaf has to slave every hour God sends. But after 4 weeks, his great skill and experience triumph.
The roof has been a bit of a pig, but it's we've done the majority of it now. It's looking good, I think.
Their hopes for a child have also progressed, and Fritha's now on site to see if their IVF treatment has worked.
Okay, I'm going to go in the loo and do the pregnancy test, and I'll give it to you, okay?
Okay, great. Fingers crossed.
Often, our fates are sealed in single moments, but rarely in a portaloo.
I don't know, I guess that's long enough.
That's 2.
There's 2 lines.
This is big enough.
Getting a positive pregnancy test now is huge for us.
Yeah, I think this test does hammer home the necessity for this house. It's definitely going to concentrate the mind a little bit more.
And so it should. By the following month, the metal rib deck for the heavy concrete floors goes down, and the spaces inside are becoming enclosed. This building's enforced oddity has never been clearer. Wow. It's cool, isn't it? Hello.
Hi, welcome back.
This is extraordinary, guys. Olaf, it's a house. I didn't think you'd be anywhere near as advanced as this in 6 weeks.
I know, it's
You know?
amazing.
They're really hammering on.
The frame is crisp and strong, but also completely nuts. Every building has compromise. It's impossible to build without compromise.
Really?
You know, you could argue that actually the triangular shape of the building is a compromise in plan
Absolutely, yeah.
because it's constrained by the site. Surely you must be prepared to accept a degree of behind-the-scenes bodging in a building.
I'm not prepared to bodge anything, no.
Where was the crunch point in the building, if any?
That bloody top corner.
It was that bad you referred to it as the bloody top corner.
I actually made a model of it so I could sit there and get my head around the whole thing.
This full-scale model of where the building's largest triangles converge took 7 hours to make, and it's a fascinating glimpse into the mind of a perfectionist.
To get them to meet in the right place was kind of trial and error. I definitely didn't think that was going to be as difficult as it turned out to be.
The word is integrity. Isn't it?
Absolutely.
And it's important to get this done, isn't it? I mean, you have a deadline.
Yes, we do. So our IVF process has been successful. It's at very early days. We're just remaining really positive.
Olaf has created an implausible modern shell for this family home, but he's used the most simple and ancient methods to get here. You would think, wouldn't you, that to produce a building full of such extraordinary angles as this on every surface, including the roof, that you would need a sheaf of drawings and that architects and engineers would have spent months preparing detailed analyses of every junction. But no, because instead, Olaf uses things like this, 3 pieces of wood screwed together, forming a jig which you can slide over every joist end to cut it at an angle in that plane, but also in that plane. He doesn't need a computer to help him design this building. He hardly needs a pencil. The timber frame of this pointy palace may be complete, but Olaf has now had to return to a paid job he'd committed himself to, so every moment on site is precious.
Yeah, I don't think you need a stop bead. Oh, on the back, yeah, you will need a stop bead on the back.
Now, as well as running out of money,
Cheers, mate.
Olaf is having to trust the subbies he leaves on site. Like Mark, the bricklayer, who he's known for over 15 years.
I always knew the design would be quite intricate. It's very Olaf.
Very Olaf means very tricky. Heavy block work with precise angles and lots of extreme cuts.
To get that many bricks to do the job took me 1 day just to cut all those to hide this steel. Yeah, it's been quite labour intensive.
It's extremely important for me to have friends here that understand me, understand my needs, and I get on with.
The zinc roof is also being fitted by someone Olaf has worked with before.
Francois is basically a genius when it comes to metalwork. So how many panels have we got then?
I don't know.
By October, there is still no news about the mortgage, and funds are dwindling. Although Francois and his team have begun fitting the expensive zinc roof.
And you want to put a gutter here?
Yeah.
And then
When he's not at work, Olaf has been insulating, not just to keep this house warm, but more importantly, silent.
Because of the railway, because of the road, sound needs to get eradicated. The amount of material and different types of materials in the actual makeup of the wall is going to pretty much annihilate any kind of sound coming through.
Olaf's belt and braces approach to soundproofing will make some of these walls almost half a metre thick. Of course, that's no guarantee his plan will actually work. He's relying on mountains of different insulation and the insulating strength of his triple glazed windows. Tens of thousands of pounds worth of glass has now arrived, and it's being installed by Olaf's subcontractor. But there's a problem, and it's got nothing to do with soundproofing.
There is a hiccup. A number of the windows with the handles have been milled on the wrong side. What's this all about, you know? Ridiculous. When I saw the windows were opening the wrong way and all the handles were wrong, then I lost it a bit. Out of the 17 windows, 9 of them are on the wrong side. Impossible to live with.
1, 2, 3.
Olaf's a perfectionist. The windows have to be right. And that could be expensive. Three-dimensional triangular volumes are not the easiest to create, something Fritha and Olaf are quickly discovering.
It's all-consuming. You wake up in the middle of the night and you end up, deconstructing a roof in your brain.
Financial pressure is mounting too. The extravagant zinc roof is costing 25 grand, and the window problem is unresolved.
Yeah, it does take it out of you, physically and mentally. I think if we had money, I'd sleep. Sure, rich people sleep well at night, don't they?
If the bank don't agree the new mortgage of $240,000 very soon, this project will have to completely stop. And then, of course, there's always the odd bout of torrential weather to slow things down. Roofers are at work. Outside may be damp, but inside is wonderfully dry, and it seems to have grown. Oh my word! Full height. That's beautiful. This is exciting because I haven't been up here. Triangular study. A little bit of a landing going on here, and then there's bedrooms. So these windows are super high performing, triple glazed, and this one opens, quite clearly the wrong way. You want it to open into that void there. You don't have to kind of walk around it. It kind of makes this entire corner of the room useless, which is a shame. Olaf has gone back to the company responsible for designing the windows, and it's clear that there's been a miscommunication about the specifications. Now the company are willing to have a discussion about putting things right. Have the windows been the biggest issue for you?
Yeah, the windows have been the biggest issue. And it's been fairly stressful as well.
So where are you now then?
They're willing to change the sashes.
So you've got a result?
Yeah, we don't have to stop the job. We can change them after we've moved in.
Olaf's happy that the handles problem is resolved. And there's even more good news.
We've just had an acceptance for an extension on the mortgage.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So yeah, I think we've got it covered now.
Good. That's going to kit you out as well. It's going to give you furniture and fitted stuff and the whole thing, which you need in a building like this. You can't just expect to buy a wardrobe from a shop in the high street. And
Not this shape, no.
not this shape.
I want to make the kitchen from scratch, yeah, we'll see how it all pans out.
Nice. Their new mortgage must be a huge relief. It means Olaf can now focus on delivering some of his precise, high-quality joinery. By winter, the render is on, and the sculptural zinc roof is finished and has some extremely stylish, low-profile solar panels attached.
The whole system was £6,000. It's about 30% more expensive than a standard array, but they're hardly noticeable on this kind of roof.
Beautiful. The promise of greater things to come, all of which are now again in the hands of Olaf, who's back on site full-time. Clearly, this is a man happy in his work, and a happy Olaf is a happy Fritha.
I just never ever thought I'd ever have a bedroom like this in my whole life. This is like a hotel. There's going to be a sofa, beer fridge. We're going to have a great time up here.
Damn right.
In the new year, with a baby due in 6 weeks, work accelerates. The interiors are plastered, and Olaf has turned his attention to the external timber cladding. He wants the timber to merge into the blockwork. But once again, those acute angles aren't making life easy.
The reason why this is a bit tricky is it double backs at an angle less than 41, which is tricky to cut, and we just want to make sure it looks absolutely spot on and nice and crisp.
Shaping just 3 fragile larch boards to form a perfect sharp edge
There's another piece needed there.
takes most of a day.
Attention to detail is what I do. I've made a nice niche career out of it so far.
This building has charted Olaf's progress from carpenter to master craftsman.
That's how you do it.
Even the short winter days
Nighttime carpentry.
can't halt his devotion to this project.
You go the extra length on your own home, I think, to see what it looks like in the daylight though.
Olaf's genius is becoming evident all over this house. From the finely cut cladding to the timber tiles made from offcuts. Even his driveway is an exquisite layout of concrete blocks. So Olaf's getting to that exciting bit in the project. You know, he's putting the cladding on, he's dressing the building, and he needs one beautiful tiny detail on the front of that house to complete it. I wonder what it is. Just tell me, why are you putting a bus next to the house?
Well, it overcomes the problem of not being able to build a workshop because of the sewer.
Expensive?
2,600.
Drunken eBay purchase.
People walking by, walking their dogs will go, oh, I was hoping to see some exquisite pointing or some beautiful larch cladding, but no, instead what I'm looking at is the side of a plastic bus.
It's going to be really urban meets rural, meets really nice triangular house. Well, what's so sad is we spent so much money on the front door, and now, you know, you're really not going to see much of the front.
That's kind of my point, really. Well, how the hell are you going to get it into place? Because you've got nowhere to, you're going to crane it in. How are you going to do it?
Not sure yet.
This thing has to go onto the drive, so we will have to make it
We'll
work.
work it.
Yeah.
It's going to look fantastic.
It looks like it belongs on a concrete ring road, this bus. It's not glamorous. Olaf still needs to get his site bus ready, alongside a few other jobs.
The driveway is still not complete. I've got the fencing to do outside, the rendering and the decking. In here is all the floors, all the second fix, and then final finish, including the kitchen. It's extremely overwhelming.
I so admire this man for building this home almost by himself. But there is one welcome distraction.
when you first hold your baby. Yeah, it's just an amazing thing. Yes.
Love you.
You can't stop looking at them. 100% life-changing moment.
Just want it all over and we can move into our house.
As Fritha and Olaf come to terms with being parents, another important arrival is speeding its way into their lives.
Slightly shitting myself about the bus arriving. The whole thing's an unknown as to how it's going to go. It could go absolutely smoothly, it could be disastrous. That would cause a traffic jam. It's a tight space to get a bloody great bus in.
But it's too late for second thoughts. The bus is making its first pass past sight.
I feel like I want to puke. Jesus Christ, just watching it come over the bridge, it's like, oh my God. I might just get Neve to move her car forward a bit. Shit, it's right there.
Olaf has to stop the traffic on one of the major A roads through Sussex, just to manoeuvre this huge hunk of junk into position. And it's not happening smoothly.
What's he doing now?
Just to watch the post,
Yeah,
I'm going
yeah.
to get a bit of a lock on.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, it's going to have to be tight.
Shit. Oh, no, it's not going to go, is it? It's going to take the fence out, and it's going to hit my van.
The build-up of traffic
Jesus Christ.
makes for an unwelcome gallery of spectators.
I don't know what's going on.
All the effort and craftsmanship that Olaf's put into this house could all be undone
So much traffic going to be backed up right now.
by a drunken late-night spur-of-the-moment internet purchase.
Stop! Oh, Christ. What have I done? Shit.
It felt like disaster had struck. But miraculously, 2 months later, the last time I visited, the bus had made it onto site. And I was dumbfounded by Olaf and Fritha's transformation of this piece of land that no one else had wanted. Oh, goodness me. That is looking acutely sharp. The zinc-clad roof was exquisite, puncturing the brilliant blockwork drive, as was the cladding, a combination of larch and humble engineering bricks. Every inch so well crafted. But Olaf and Fritha had only just moved in and were understandably exhausted.
We're in, yeah.
You're living here?
We're living here.
We're living here.
And not just by 15 months of construction.
This is Lagatha.
Yeah, this is. How are you, baby? Inside, Olaf had set about carving out interiors from the home's peculiar shape. Oh, beautiful. Lagatha's room. That is so charming. But there was a ton of joinery for Olaf yet to complete. Unrealised also was the transformation of the double-decker bus into his carpentry workshop. Another marathon project. It's been 2.5 years since I last saw Olaf and Fritha and their new baby, Lala, as they were just moving into their pointy house, which was, of course, unfinished at the time. And there was a world to come of craftsmanship, of care and dedication to making that beautiful interior that Olaf wanted to construct so much. That world of nurture and of love, and completely different, of course, to the world outside. And I'm very curious to know how they managed to forge their new life, surrounded as they are by trains and cars and lorries. It's almost 2.5 years since I visited Olaf and Fritha's landmark home on their tricky plot in West Sussex, betwixt trains and traffic. So, does it still deliver that jolt of architectural adrenaline that knocked my socks off last time? Oh, there's a work. What's that, little shed or something? Oh, the house is good. It's still as sharp as ever. You know, it packs such a punch. So much energy in this building, and it hasn't dissipated. Oh, there's a red bus. Yeah, there you see. I'd forgotten about that. That was always going to be Olaf's workshop, wasn't it? And clearly he's using it because there are piles of timber everywhere. The canny, creative reinvention of this once unlovable site never ceases to amaze me. But what of the transformation of the lives of the family within? Olaf, Fritha and Lagatha, now nicknamed Lala. Oh, hi!
How are you?
Very well.
Great to
Beverly.
see you again.
And you.
Great
After all
to
this
see
time.
you, I know.
Very good to see you. It's really, really good. Absolutely amazing. And how have you been over the last 2 years?
Busy. Very busy.
You were doing all this site work, which was, you know, heavy duty. But now, I mean, I get a glimpse of it.
It's only just coming into fruition now, the bus. So I'm still on site, but slowly taking on more work to make use of the bus. Yeah.
Nice, nice. I almost forget, because I get so excited by this building. I almost forget that there's a road there. You can hear the traffic on it. I mean, how's it been?
Well, we forget.
You you don't notice it?
No, it's oblivious.
And the trains?
Yeah.
The trains we love. Lala just says, train, train.
You know, this whole project was about the kind of taking of an unusable thing, you know, and crafting from those circumstances something beautiful, something unusual.
If the road hadn't been there, we wouldn't have had a plot that we could afford, let's face it.
Yeah.
Come on in.
Great. So, just how effective is this super insulated home at cutting out all the commotion outside? I love this door. It's like sort of passive house standard, isn't it? All these seals. And it soundproofing, I mean, it's good, yeah?
It is very good.
Try it. It's like the outside world is gone.
Open the door again and see.
Hang on, I'll open the door. What's that? That great rumble of something. That sounds like an aircraft going over.
Motorbikes are the loudest. It's extraordinary.
It's also quite warm.
It's lovely and warm.
Yeah. Lose a layer or two.
I might have to. Feel at home. Oh, it's good, that kitchen. They painted each set of door fronts with a different Pantone sample pot to save money. It's lovely and sleek. And this is, I'm assuming, I mean, these shelves here, all you.
So he's made the table, all the shelves in all our bathrooms, everything is made from one tree. So the table is beautiful. When you get baked beans down here, you can't get the baked beans or ketchup out. So unfortunately, we're going to have to cut all the pretty bark off. It's got to go.
We'll still keep the waney edge, but lose the bark.
I like the fact that it's getting oiled, but just through use with things like
butter and sausages and
olive
stuff.
oil. Yeah, exactly. What do you call this room?
We call it the snug.
Right, that corner is really super pointy. So what do you put in that? And the answer is you put in something circular. You put in the wood burner, which is just fills the gap.
Warms the house.
The MVHR helps to move the heat around the house as well.
So the MVHR, mechanical ventilation, that's taking the heat and blowing it into all sorts of bedrooms and
Yeah,
around the house.
warming the rest of the house, yeah.
Now, I've never seen that before. That's clever. What's the point of the hole, the window in between the two rooms?
Well, it's actually a mirror that comes up. So it can either be open plan or closed space. Yeah.
It comes up?
Yeah.
How?
Just press the button.
At the speed of a glacier. If you want to look at yourself before you're going out, you know, you can do that in 3 weeks. It's taking forever.
Yeah, Olaf's very sensitive about the speed of it.
Okay.
I just
any faster. It's a bit more Austin Powers than James Bond, I'm afraid.
But all this is mere detail. The living spaces here provide valuable sanctuary for Olaf, Fritha and young Lala. Spaces that transcend and defy the noisy surroundings. Even in the garden, which has a bar, a fire pit, and lots of space for family and friends. Meanwhile, upstairs, Olaf has been busy carving beautiful furniture. Wow! Not least in the main bedroom on the top floor. This is you, presumably, Olaf. This is
Yes.
Yes.
a magnificent bedhead.
Yeah.
Magnificent piece of tree.
Yeah,
I
and
love
he
it.
put these sleepers on as well for the base of the bed.
There's still a couple of bits to do in here. Like I want to do some proper bedside tables.
Yeah.
And there's a big lump of ash. It's going to be a lovely sort of shelf behind the bath to actually put a beer on instead of
In the bath.
Find a
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean,
Put it.
is this because you can't stop?
I would like to stop one day. But I see things that need to be done, and I'll just,
Yeah.
you know, I'll keep going.
On the floor below, an office has become a bedroom, and other rooms have changed too. So there are now 3 bedrooms squeezed in here. This was Lala's room, wasn't it?
It was Lagatha's room, yeah.
Yeah. So now it's what?
This is for a child we don't know their name of yet because we're foster carers and we're waiting to be matched with 2 new children.
Wow.
We got through it, yeah.
Good for you. So you're going to have 3 kids?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness me, a proper house full. I mean, you'd be really making use of the building.
Yeah.
I think it's staggering that you've got those reserves.
It feels weird having 2 massive empty rooms.
It's really interesting you say that because I didn't think this house would be too big at all.
Yeah.
I thought it would be constricting because it's small. You had to go small because of the site, because of the sewer. You know, so many constraints here. And actually, you've ended up with a building, thanks, I think, partly to going up, that's given you so much space.
If it's just me, Olaf and Lala here for the rest of our lives, it would feel empty and a waste. So we want a big family and we want to fill this place.
Use it.
Yeah.
Share it.
Share it.
Share it.
Yeah.
Amazing that you're doing this. I think it's admirable. This site is now so accommodating, readying itself for a burgeoning family. While outside, on top of that peskily positioned sewage pipe, the red bus has finally been inventively reborn as Olaf's carpentry workshop. Oh, yes.
Fully kitted.
Blimey, actually it is. You've got everything you need. Yeah. They're big spaces, aren't they, these?
Yeah.
Surprisingly so, yeah.
Yeah, load of pillar drill, chop saws, planers.
I've never had a fully kitted workshop like this. Dedicated tools with dedicated jobs in a dedicated space.
Dedicated to one man.
Dedicated to this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so the stuff you're planning to then make is not going to be as heavy, I guess.
Definitely not, no.
Not as massive, not as...
Just a little bit more intricate and
Yeah.
manageable. Yeah, I just hope that I'm able to create stuff that's unique and inspire other people.
And the house, I suppose, in a way, is already a giant version of that.
That is,
It's kind of...
yeah,
I mean, because...
we're shrinking everything down now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So do you think it's still like a hunk of junk or improved hunk of junk?
It was a hunk of junk. And now it is the most brilliant workshop. It's eccentric, but it's... Yeah.
Just wait till you see upstairs.
What, here? I'd forgotten. It's a double-decker bus. Oh, this is miraculous. The upper deck is transformed into a design space with a lounge. This is not the floor of the original bus, surely? No.
3 months of hard labour.
Word. Leftovers, is it?
It's all the leftovers of life, yeah. Jobs I've been on all my whole life.
I think it's magical.
This house is enabling Olaf and I to live out both our dreams. Like, I've always dreamed of being a foster carer.
Yeah.
And Olaf's always dreamed of having his own workshop so he can do his own work. And this house has enabled us to live out both of those dreams. So
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Olaf and Fritha seem to have built a house and a life without compromise, from a plot that not long ago was all compromise. I'd take my hard hat after these 2. The ride here has been by bus, and it's been by ambulance, and it's been by pointy building. Has been kind of a bit wild, hasn't it? Or is all of life like that for you 2?
It's definitely fast-paced with Fritha around.
You've just managed to cram a lot into your lives.
We do, yeah. We don't really stop.
I'm curious to know what people have said. The house is so exposed, it was so obvious when you drive past it that you must have had lots of people just stop and you know, and talk to you about it.
I think generally people have, you know, they understand why we had to build what we built.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they appreciate the fact that the design went beyond just the triangle and, you know, and created something unique. You know, just this last week, I'm being asked to look at a triangular plot in somewhere in the Midwest of America.
Amazing.
And we are so privileged to have this setting to just flourish in.
You seem to have achieved so much on so little that it's sort of almost entirely about the making and the doing and the crafting. That I find really magical, really. Yeah, well, I mean, if you can do that, then you can do anything. When I first met Olaf and Fritha, I thought of them as children of innocence, festival goers, free spirits on the planet doing their thing. See how far they've come. You know, there are some people on this planet, I mean, people like Olaf and Fritha, actually, who seem imbued with just vast amounts of energy, you know, as if they were human dynamos. I mean, take this pair, for example. I mean, they started out with a list of, well, pretty humdrum, humble materials like engineering bricks and bits of leftover wood. And a dog end of a site, frankly, and from these things, they crafted a building of sheer beauty. And now, in turn, the house and the garden and the bus and the imminent fostering, they're all beginning to reward Olaf and Fritha and give them back energy and inspiration by turn. You know, it's like a sort of atomic nuclear fusion fission thing that's triangular shaped, and they're in the middle of it, as busy as ever. What next?